Hi, welcome to Gear Garage. My name is Zach, and this is my fun little internet show about whitewater stuff. And in the last couple of episodes, we've been talking about tying anchors onto rafts. And the point of tying anchors onto rafts are so you can pull really hard on the raft and distribute the load between multiple D-rings or multiple parts of the raft. It's typically D-rings, but you could be pulling on different things. And you want to pull on rafts for a variety of reasons. One could be the boat is wrapped. It could just be really stuck. It could be that you're lowering a boat down a cliff at put-in, and you have to tie it on two D-rings because the boat's heavy. You know, where I live here in Hood River, we do a lot of put-ins of rafts where we're lowering boats down steep embankments. And tying on to one D-ring, lowering it down isn't quite enough. And if it broke, the boat would just go and could hurt somebody or just go off in the river. So I like to tie up the two D-rings if I can. So there's a lot of reasons why you need to do self-equalizing anchors that distribute the loads. And self-equalizing means you can change the direction of the pull and it's still going to equalize the weight between the two D-rings. So we've learned a couple of them. We've used webbing like this to do 2-point and 3-point self-equalizing anchors in the last couple of episodes. And what that does is create webbing between the D-rings that we can clip a line onto. And it allows us to do whatever we need to do. And I'd recommend most of us get really good at the 2-point self-equalizing anchor. That's a base skill set for any rafter. But sometimes we forget the webbing. Sometimes you just forgot it. Sometimes maybe this is the boat we're rescuing and the webbing we need in the safety kit is wrapped in the boat and it's not safe to get it. Sometimes you're just going lean to mean and you're like, I know some tricks. I can bring just a safety line and do what I'm about to show you. So there's a lot of reasons to do it. And next, I think I want to point out that this is what I call a safety line. This one's a 7/16 inch diameter safety or static line. And static line means it doesn't have a lot of pull, right? So when you're pulling on a throwback, for example, and you pull on a boat, you have to pull that rope, lengthen it basically. Like it has some elasticity to it, so you're pulling that rope before the boat pulls the boat. Where this rope doesn't have much stretch. And so when you pull on the rope, the boat generally moves, which is a really nice thing. Also, a nice big diameter is really cool. If you pull on a big diameter rope, you can pull harder, and you can pull more attempts. Really thin lines, people like the Dyneema lines or whatever they are, the thin lines that are high tech, you really can't pull hard on thin lines. And after 5 or 6 tugs, you start getting blisters on your hands. So having a static line on this for your safety line is really nice. I've shown up on some rafts where people are doing 3-to-1 Z-rigs with throwback thin lines and 4 people pulling, and I'm watching them pull the rope lengthwise and the boat's not moving. We put a static line on here really quickly, pull from one angle, pull from a different angle, and the boat comes off. So I'm personally a huge fan of using static lines, but also just trying different angles out and not going right to the 3-to-1, like taking your time. So anyway, you have a static line, and let's say you don't have the webbing or whatever you need to do a 2-point self-equalizing anchor. You can do it with rope too, and this is a pretty cool little trick to have in your toolbox. And one more thing too is when somebody's pinned, you have to get the static line over to the boat, which is kind of a project, right? It involves a throw bag over and then pulling the static line over separately, right? And sometimes getting the webbing over from the shore to the boat is actually a huge chore. So this could also be a way to just quickly do a 2-point anchor without dealing with getting this webbing all the way to the boat. So enough about that. I'm going to show you this trick. This just uses the rope, and all you do is you take the rope and put it through two D-rings like this. On the first end, you're going to do a figure 8 on a bite. This is just a classic knot, not note, but this is a knot that every boater should know how to do. It's just a way to put a loop at the end of a rope, and it's something that as a class 2 boater, you should know this knot for sure. And if you don't, you go learn it right now. Stop listening to this and go learn the knot. And I dress it, I make it look pretty. That allows it to be stronger, more efficient, but also easy to untie later. Because when you undo the system, this knot's going to get stuck in this D-ring. So you have to untie this knot or cut the rope, but static ropes are pretty expensive. You're going to have to undo this knot later. So having it be dressed allows you to untie it in like 2 or 3 minutes after you're done with this whole system. So anyway, there's my figure 8 and a bite. And the next thing you have to tie out here a little ways, and how far you tie it is sort of a judgment call. It's not an easy thing. You have to tie a directional figure 8. And this knot is kind of a tough one. I'm not going to teach you all how to do it here. I'm just going to do it for the thing. This one's tough, and this one you need to practice a lot because when you're stuck in the boat, your hands are cold, people are watching you, adrenaline's flowing. It's going to be hard to remember this one. But this is a directional figure eight, and what's interesting about the directional figure eight is it allows you to pull in one direction in the middle of the rope. So we can attach something to this and pull. It's also a really cool knot when you're tying your boats up in camp. If one boat has a 100-foot line up, you can tie a directional figure eight in that line and tie other boats to the line. So you have to do a bunch of 100-foot up ropes. So I don't know if that makes sense, but it's something that I do quite a bit. I really like this knot a lot. Again, dressing it is important like all knots, making it look pretty so that it ties easier. It's important to know with a directional figure eight, you only pull in this direction. You don't ever want to pull backwards. The knot doesn't do well with that. And another knot here you could use is called the butterfly, which is a multi-directional knot. But that one to me is almost trickier to tie. Some people like it more. But this is the directional figure eight. And you take and you attach these two, do I have a carabiner here? These two together, which creates a pretty cool little system here. And I'm going to lock this really quick. And so if you pull just like this is actually bad. This puts more strength. If you know some basic trigonometry or whatever the math is, this puts more load on those D-rings than just pulling directly. So you shouldn't do this. But sort of like we do in the 2-to-1 system, you just pull this thing up here and you attach it to the carabiner. So the concept is very much the same. Lock that carabiner again. The concept is very much the same as the webbing if you can visualize it. But then you're pulling on this system where it's distributing the loads pretty evenly between those two D-rings, depending on this angle being small. And you can make this angle bigger if you want by putting a directional eight further out. I chose this one. But also, as you change angle, it also equalizes two different angles, which I think is really important because once you get the rope attached, you really want to try different angles out to see what works. Sometimes you can pull with infinite force in one way, but sometimes two people can pull in a different direction and it will come right off. So being able to change your angles pretty easily is important. So that's it. It's a fun little trick. I've used this a couple times with great success. Again, the nice thing is you can typically set this up maybe a little bit faster if you know how than the webbing. The big downside is it uses a lot of rope. So if you have a short static line or you're short rope, this isn't going to work. This is quite honestly probably like 25 feet of the rope being used up right here to do this. And if I put the directionally further out, it would be more. So you need a lot of static line to pull this off. And so if you're going over a large distance, this might not be possible. But again, it's a nice trick to know how to do in case you have some sort of problem where you don't have access to webbing or whatever. So again, like I said in the other videos, it's a little harder to tie from the inside the boat, so I practice it on the outside first, learn it on the outside first, and then practice it from inside the boat. So that's it about anchoring with a static line. One of my favorite tricks, something that I highly recommend learning. And if you've done it before, please put a comment in the comment section below. Say, yes, I've done that, or great. If you're confused by something, put a comment down there. I'd be happy to answer it. The hardest part of the whole thing, though, is learning how to tie the directional figure eight. Not only just doing it, but then doing it when you're stressed, your hands are cold, that kind of thing. So that's it for this episode. Can't wait to see you in the next one. Thanks.